I got my parts in. So I got the new seal. So T6 8164641. That's the seal. And then you got the gasket 278588935. There's the gasket. So I just need to take this off and put the new seal in. So let me get my so yeah, just replacing the shift shaft seal. Pretty simple, two 10mm bolts. And then when you pop these up, you just want to take a real small screwdriver, just kind of pry it up, keep this bar from popping up on you. Should come right on up. Yeah, just put that, keep that from popping up. You don't want that to come up on you. And then that comes off, and you just take a screwdriver, bam, pops right out of there. So then what you want to do, sorry, get my camera set up a little bit. So now your seal, you can see there's a little edge, and then there's, so it needs to go down like this. Hopefully you can see that. It'll go down in like that. And just make sure, you know, your surface is nice and clean. If there's any burrs or anything, just try to, you know, get that off. And then get you a socket that's gonna fit that, like that one. Hopefully you can see that. And a rubber mallet. So you can see this is a little shallow, so I'm going to get a little bit bigger. And you can see seal Goes in pretty easy. And then we'll just put our new gasket on. Take the old gasket out. And then you can see there's like this little membrane. So we want that up. And then we'll take our seal back. There is an O-ring here. This is a new O-ring. And then we're just going to slide this down the shaft. Oh, first put a little bit of oil. T-cycle or some silicone. A little silicone spray. That won't hurt the gasket. When you put it in, just make sure it's not around where we're going to seal. And you'll feel it go down. I got my gasket off. Ah. And then if your gasket's a little bit off, just take something and make sure that it's clear. Put our screws and get them started. Alright, so these should be torqued. I don't know how many inch-pounds, so I just do it by hand. You can get probably 15 inch-pounds by hand. That's plenty. Alright, so now fire up my compressor and we'll check to make sure now that it's holding. Alright, so I got my air compressor fired up and I've got my gauge, and what you want to do is use your air regulator and make sure that you're at about 10 psi, 10, 12 psi. You don't really want to go higher than that, I don't think. That should be enough. And you can see, you know, from my gauge that if you look, the red is the psi, so I'm somewhere around, I don't know, 12 psi. So what I'll do is then just take, I'll take and use my vent hole. Get the old gasket out of there. So I'm just going to take my thing and put it on here. And you just want to be, careful with it. And then I got my soapy water. And it looks like we're holding. You can see how the pressure pushed this up a little. And that's fine. And we're holding. So we fixed our problem. And that's awesome. You can see it's still holding. I disconnected the air. So this is great. Little thing that releases the air, the pressure. So I can take this off now. And next thing I'll do is I'm going to put my vent screw back in. Then I'll take my bottom vent screw out and just put a little bit more oil in it, just to top it off. So you got your hole down here that you add fluid to it. So I'll do that real quick. Kind of hard to see. So yeah, once I do that, then take the vent hole and relieve it. And then I'll put new gaskets that come in the comes with the new water pump kit. So yeah, I'm gonna put a new gasket on there. Always put a new gasket. I have that one ready to go. And I'll have this one ready to go. Shouldn't take much. Dang it. Yeah, I say that, but yeah, there it goes. There we go. That's plenty. So we'll put our new vent plug back in. I say new, but with the new gasket. Yeah. Oh. Alright. We got this nice big long screwdriver and it fits really good. So what I do is just give it a little whoop. Make sure it's tight. And it is. Alright, so now I'm done with that. Now it's time to put the water pump on. So I'll take my screws out. Just wipe it down so it's good and clean. So here's the new impeller kit, 47-8M0100526. Got the plates gonna go on first. And then you'll have this plate, either side, doesn't matter. Shouldn't matter. Make sure we line up our holes, sorta. Just to make sure the plate. Sometimes these plates, manufacturing, are off. I just want to check them and make sure they're on, because sometimes in manufacturing they're just a little off. So you can see how that one, so you just gotta kind of make sure that everything lines up real good. So that all lines up like that. It's gonna go down like that. And then you got your new gasket. And you notice that this has the little rubber seal. You want that up. It's gonna go like that. Alright, and then we're going to take a little bit of grease, put here, and for that I need to hook up my grease gun so I can get some grease out. So I just want to get a little 2,4-C more than I need. Let's put the excess up on the splines. You're going to want to grease that. It's going to come with a new spline. Alright. Then we're just going to slide this down. And I like putting a little grease in here. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little. Slide our new impeller on. Line up our key. Alright. Then in our housing, I like to clean them up a little. Sometimes there's a little gum. And then in here, if we put a little silicone spray, it'll just help it slide on a little better. You don't want to use grease. I've seen some guys use Vaseline. Any of that is petroleum, where you could, you know, potentially it could, I guess, mess up your impeller. Just put this on, and then while we're pushing down, we're going to turn this dude. We just don't want to mess up our gaskets. That's the only problem with this. See, you just got to be careful because it tends to want to grab a hold of that gasket. So I don't know if there's any real good trick to this, because like I say, it wants to grab a hold of that gasket as you're pushing down and turning. So I guess you could do something like this. Try to hold the gasket if you can, but it's kind of tricky because you gotta push down while you're doing this. Yeah, so once you get it started, I guess, see how it turns this gasket. To me, this is the big trick, is getting the gasket where it doesn't get messed up. So once you gotta get it lined up, what you can do is push it all the way down and then lift it back up some. Take your bolts and get them started. Also, so when you turn this, make sure you turn this clockwise. You want the vanes to be in the right direction. It's a clockwise motor, so. Should be so many inch-pounds. I always do it by hand so they're tight. Just check it. Some guys put a little grease on the threads, but I think if you hydrolock it, then it ends up becoming a problem.